Lady Diana was heavily publicized during her life. Her photo appeared in headlines and magazines. Hidden beneath the gorgeous photographs online were uncommon moments behind the camera. Most of the non-newsworthy photos are back. Were these moments glimpses of a young woman wanting freedom? Do they expose Diana's true nature and change our perception? Discover what these photographs reveal with us. Why they matter today more than ever. She's honest and intriguing. The world witnessed Diana Spencer go from quiet kindergarten teacher to most photographed woman. Diana changed between state banquets and charity galas. One who shed her heels to race barefoot with her boys down palace halls, snuck out for late-night McDonald's outings, and took shelter in small moments of normalcy. Born into British aristocracy on a sunny day in 1961, Diana's Park House childhood should have been perfect. She played with siblings and rode ponies on the miles-long Sandringham estate. But behind the privilege were fissures that would shape everything. 6-year-old Diana moved between her parents' hateful houses after their marriage ended. She later told pals that she didn't fully shake that feeling of being unmoored, waiting for the next shoe to drop. Early instability gave Diana a curious conundrum. She wanted love and acceptance, but never trusted it. She felt hollow when she returned to Kensington Palace, despite throngs and press adoration. The bulimia began early in her marriage. A secret she hid behind beautiful dresses and a dazzling grin. Depression appeared. I realized what was in my and her thinking, though the newspaper cover photographs would never suggest it. The tabloids missed this. Diana was amazing at finding light in darkness. For her, William and Harry altered everything. Diana ditched nannies and royal etiquette. She took the boys to theme parks and let them wait in line. She played pop music in the car and had all three of them singing loudly. The unguarded times. Harry pulling faces while she pretended to be serious. William spoke something that made her chuckle. You saw the true woman behind the tiara. What occurred when Diana left motherhood for the world? How could someone who suffered so much make it meaningful for others? Nobody noticed Diana's spontaneity. In an odd sense, her pain became her superpower. Because she experienced what it was like to be excluded, she gravitated toward the marginalized. That 1987 photo of her touching hands with an AIDS patient, she didn't act for cameras. She stayed with patients for hours without photographers, conversing. No PR stunt was planned for Angola's landmine trek either. She wanted to comprehend these community struggles. Friends recall her arriving to hospitals at night without a crowd. She held premature newborns in the NICU, sat with insomniac patients, and spoke with janitors during breaks. Diana helped one nurse put chairs against the wall after a support group meeting while talking about her treatment sessions like it was usual. The grainy photographs of her in tiaras and jewels tell different stories than the well-taken ones. Diana sneaks out to view movies alone with jeans and a baseball cap in one photo. Is it possible? I won't say anything, honey. She was ugly, crying with laughter at intimate jokes no one else understood in another photo. She held many. This world's most famous and lonely woman used soft power to fight demons that wouldn't let her be. People are still trying to understand Diana 27 years after that Paris tunnel. Perhaps she refused to be a fairy tale princess or a scorned wife, dedicated mother, needy partner, philanthropist, or publicity seeker. She was magnificent, messy, heartbreakingly human. Maybe that's why candid moments count. A private person lies behind every public figure, they say, fighting wars the world may never understand. From where did this complex woman come? What type of childhood makes someone who can fascinate millions and struggle with her self-worth? Diana's chaotic childhood. Diana grew up at Park House with her older sisters Sarah and Jane and younger brother Charles, where good memories were tied up in family strife that would have devastated most kids. Charles was 17. Once interrupted 5-year-old Diana and Andrew's tea party. The early photographs tell their own story if you look attentively. Diana smiles from her pram as her siblings make faces. A great photo of all 4 Spencer children marching together like they're on an adventure follows. Even as their parents' marriage broke apart, they were close. Charles Spencer retains Diana's 6th birthday photo of them on Bird, a camel at a summer carnival. That mischievous Spencer spirit that stayed with Diana even as life got hard and the world watched her every move is evident in their faces. The divorce when Diana was 6 broke their family, but it didn't affect the siblings' passionate loyalty, especially between Diana and Charles, who supported each other during subsequent events. Diana went to Riddlesworth Hall and West Heath boarding school, where her instructor noticed something in her that the world wouldn't until years later. This quiet female who saw the kid eating lunch alone or the new student feeling confused. She would naturally incorporate them without forcing it. She wasn't the class clown or star learner, but rather the one that remembered birthdays and sent messages to folks having a bad day. Unteachable instinctive kindness. She didn't pursue a fancy career after school. A bitter custody fight ended with the Spencer children living with their father permanently. Instead, she became a London nanny and later a teacher's assistant at Young England Kindergarten. She spent her day finger painting and telling stories, comfortably letting children clamber on her while laughing. Although unassuming, those little jobs showed everything about Diana. She was patient with tantrum-throwing toddlers, sympathetic with shy ones who reminded her of herself, and thrilled when she could make a crying child smile. How did this kindergarten teacher who liked finger painting and story time become the world's most renowned woman? When the palace called, what happened? Engagement that altered everything. Diana's life changed on February 24, 1981, when Buckingham Palace announced her marriage to Prince Charles. In an instant, this 19-year-old kindergarten teacher faced an unimaginable future. Even her most aristocratic fantasies. They'd met in upper-class British circles where everyone's connected, but their romance was lightning fast and odd because Charles was 12 years older and seemed to live on a different planet despite their comparable upbringing. Still, the press went crazy over the story. Despite body language specialists' observations that they hardly touched during photo shoots and seemed to be having different conversations half the time, everyone believed in the fairy tale. Diana followed because what else could she do at 19 when the British elite thought she was perfect for the role? Even yet, she was beginning to comprehend that beautiful meant something different behind royal gates. Restricted by the conservative royal family than in kindergarten. Diana entered the glass bus wearing the amazing silk taffeta creation with its 25-foot train that needed its own handlers, holding secrets that would have startled the 750 million people watching their real-life princess moment. Behind that lovely veil and apprehensive grin, she was already fighting bulimia that had started during the engagement, believing Charles's heart lay elsewhere, and feeling drowning in demands she'd never signed up for yet couldn't escape. As they entered St. Paul's Cathedral, cameras caught her fiercely grasping her father's arm, turning her knuckles white. Although everyone thought it was wetting nerves, Diana later revealed she was fighting the temptation to run, knowing it was too late to give up with the world watching their fairy tale. But this 20-year-old girl who'd been teaching kindergarten just months before walked down that impossibly long aisle anyway, stepping into a life where every smile and tear would be analyzed and photographed, where she'd have to learn to be a princess while the world watched and judged, and never let her forget she was supposed to live happily ever after. But what happened when the fairy tale broke? What allowed Diana to remain herself when every moment was recorded and analyzed? Candid moments on tour and at home. Diana's vacation shots were more telling than her formal portraits. In the 80s and 90s, photographers captured her spontaneity and wit. Diana stressed about getting the stance right during her 1992 tour to Egypt's pyramids, knowing millions would examine every detail. Photographer Anwar Hussein recounted. After he took the ceremonial shot, she relaxed. "I'm having the worst day," she remarked. "One of my worst days ever." Hussein later explained that Diana was having fun in this candid shot, throwing her arms out and laughing. Official royal photography rarely shows this. At a Luciano Pavarotti concert in London, it started raining and everyone grabbed their umbrellas. Diana lifted hers too, but she noticed the folks behind her couldn't see the stage, so she lowered it and got soaked. A photographer captured the princess soaked as everyone else stayed dry under their umbrellas, creating a legendary image. For her innate kindness, Diana showed true compassion in a 1993 Nepalese snapshot, tenderly stroking the cheek of an impoverished woman. Millions saw the image and felt her concern. Diana publicly discussed her transformation with the media. Early public event photos showed her head down, looking at the ground, a propensity that earned him the nickname Shy Di. Hussein saw that she acquired confidence and started facing photographers' lenses, controlling her appearance in photos. Her confidence shines through in 1995 and 1996 photos of her standing tall in gorgeous evening outfits. Diana took some of her most personal photos with her sons. She vowed to provide William and Harry the most normal upbringing possible. Photos from those years show her taking them to McDonald's amusement parks, squatting to converse at their height, and hugging them tightly, learning to address their issues directly. A photographer photographed the young prince's embrace of their mother after she returned from abroad in 1993. The photo shows all three grinning. Real joy and love. These private encounters showed Diana differently from at official events. A mother who loved her kids and prioritized their emotional needs. What happened behind those happy family photos? What fights did Diana fight that the cameras missed? Diana's hardships and secrets. Diana suffered major personal issues behind the glitter and public appearances. Soon after marriage, she developed bulimia. In interviews years later, she said the eating illness was her secret method of surviving royal life's stress and loneliness. She experienced postpartum depression when William was born. After her marriage ended, her loneliness and self-doubt worsened. She told pals she felt useless, which seemed absurd given her public adoration. Our glossy public image hides a global pandemic and others' claims. Diana had major personal issues. She developed bulimia nervosa soon after her wedding, stating in interviews that it was her concealed way of coping with royal life's stress and seclusion. Postnatal depression plagued her as her marriage ended after William's birth. Loneliness and self-doubt increased. She told friends she felt useless despite millions of people loving her. Diana covertly taped tapes with her friend James Colthist in 1991 when her marriage collapsed. She discussed Prince Charles's liaison with Camilla Parker Bowles, her bulimia, and suicide attempts on these tapes. She felt confined and unloved in the royal family. The explosive 1992 book Diana, Her True Story by journalist Andrew Morton used these audio. AIDS has caused major moral, spiritual, and emotional concerns. Diana denied knowing Morton, but after her death, he admitted she was his main source. This disclosure transformed Diana and the royal family's image. Morton's book includes disturbing revelations, including Diana confronting Charles about his affair and saying, "Refused to be the only Prince of Wales who never had a mistress," to which Charles supposedly replied, "I adore Camilla." These facts shattered the fairy tale vision many still held. The tapes exposed Diana's serious mental health issues. She admits flinging herself down the stairs when pregnant and hurting herself, using razors to cope with mental agony. Later, Andrew Morton was shocked by her desperation and openness. His work showed Diana as a person with mental health challenges that many people encounter but rarely discuss. How could someone with such demons get strength to help others? Why did Diana use her platform for causes others were reluctant to touch? Charity and activism. Some of Diana's greatest efforts were humanitarian. Before her divorce, she used her fame to promote causes others shunned. She opened the first HIV/AIDS hospital ward in the UK in April 1987. HIV fear and disinformation were widespread. Diana made news worldwide by shaking hands with an AIDS patient sans gloves. She stated that HIV did not endanger anyone. You can handshake and hug them. Her modest gesture and clear words reduced disease stigma. Visited AIDS patients often without cameras. Diana changed history by humanizing the HIV struggle, Nelson Mandela stated. Diana was also a strong landmine opponent. The Halo Trust took her to Angola in January 1997. Global media showed her donning protective gear and walking across a minefield. She sat with landmine-wounded children and listened to their stories. Her visit generated huge public interest and pressured nations to ban these weapons. The Ottawa Treaty, an international landmine ban accord, was drafted that year and took effect in 1999. Diana's engagement made landmines a global issue, according to the Halo Trust. Diana quietly supported many charities after her divorce. She supported Royal Marsden Hospital, the National AIDS Trust, Centrepoint for Homeless Youth, and others. She took William and Harry to shelters to talk to poor or ailing people, as shown in photos. She wanted her sons to know their affluence and empathy. Diana had more public image control after her divorce. Many turned to the streets as a final resort. Her fashion experiments included crisp suits and elegant evening dress. A 1996 paparazzi photo showed her leaving the gym in biker shorts and a sweater, a casual appearance that established a fad. Hasnat Khan, a heart surgeon, was her boyfriend, whom friends call my life's love. She asked photographer Anwar Hussain if a British princess could marry a Muslim. The romance ended. Dodi Fayed, son of Egyptian millionaire Mohammed Al Fayed, became her boyfriend. Diana died in a Paris Pont de l'Alma tunnel vehicle crash on August 31, 1997. Was driving with Dodi Fayed as paparazzi followed. Fayed and their driver died in the crash. After the investigation, Henri Paul was found to have been drunk and speeding, and the paparazzi contributed to the collision. Investigators discovered no conspiracy. What legacy did Diana leave in thousands of photos? What does this footage indicate about the lady who revolutionized royalty and compassion, beyond the tiaras and fancy gowns and headlines and scandals? These photographs show Diana's private and public images reflect her continual change. As a child, she was interested and loving. As a young wife, hopeful and overwhelmed. Extremely protective mother. She was determined to portray herself as a separated lady and a humanitarian, using her platform for marginalized people. Photo evidence shows she never lost her humor. She maintained her fun personality by making silly expressions for William and Harry or sticking out her tongue at photographers. These images critique society's treatment of public figures. Diana's life was extensively documented. She often felt imprisoned by attention. She said, "I don't want expensive gifts, just someone to be there for me." In one of her recorded talks, her images of lowering her umbrella in the rain and greeting AIDS patients sans gloves show that she found meaning in small deeds. They demonstrate that she made values-based decisions despite heavy pressure. Photos also evoke empathy. Watching Diana go through a minefield or hug an HIV-positive youngster makes it harder to overlook misery abroad. Watching her console her sons after a long trip illustrates how universal parental love is, and seeing her laugh with friends after her divorce shows how to reconstruct a life after everything falls apart. Looking back, it's hard to deny Diana's struggles to recover her life and royal duties. That eating problems are just words. She wanted freedom, but was pressured by the media and tradition. She tried new activities after divorce. Connections and romances, seeking happiness outside royal protocols. The August 1997 tragedy and global outpouring of sadness revealed how much people cared about her tale. Her public and private photos do more than preserve memories. They make people think about how one person may inspire empathy, question conventions, and be fascinating after death. What do you think of Diana's private moment secrets? Would she ever obtain justice? Tell us in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video you'll like.